Okay, I want to give a brief introduction to the air track. It seems pretty simple. You can think of it as an air hockey table. There's a bunch of little holes in here. There's an air compressor right here, and this is going to pump air through this hose into here. Some basic issues you got to know. One of the things is there's a hose on the back of this, and when you plug it in, you got to be careful. If you shove it in really, really hard, it's not going to work because that will actually cut off the air. The air inside here flows in sideways and then out. So you just put this snug, but don't try to force it, all right? Whoa, I'm falling over. There's that. Now over here, we'll make sure this is somewhat snug too. Now, I'm going to put a cart on here, and this cart is going to have, the air is going to come out of here, and this should be riding on a very small cushion of air. Even though this is about 200 grams, the air is going to support that weight. For reference, this is about the same mass as a hockey puck, I guess. All right, so whatever. Now, in this case, this thing's going to be sliding back and forth. We don't want this to smash into the ends. So what we can do is we can put these rubber bands here, and I'm going to lower this one down a little. The idea is this will keep that from bouncing. And so I'm going to put one of these at the other end too. That's just to protect the cart. Now, you could obviously put those on here as well, and that's also fine. It'll change the mass. Now, one common thing that we're going to use, you may see these knife edges. When you put this on here, it's designed, I guess that's probably why it was on the upper one, to hit these rubber bands in just the right spot and give you a nice bounce. There's a problem with this, okay? If we put the knife edge on one side only, remember this is sitting on a cushion of air. I'm going to exaggerate this a little bit. This side's going to dig into that cushion of air. Way exaggerated. But the idea is we don't want that to happen. So whenever you're putting weights on this cart, try to be symmetric about it. And now, I guess I better bring that back up, which is why it was in that position. Let's confirm. That'll hit that. So this is good. Now, you can also add weights to this on either of these sides. This would be a bad way to add the weight. Why? Because if I put the weight on one side, this side's going to lean into the air cushion and will increase the friction. So if I'm going to add weight, I have to make sure I add the same weight to both sides. So whenever you're loading this thing up, put the same amount of weight left and right, side to side, things like that. Okay? Now, another thing is the air level. If I turn this thing on, if it's not up high enough, you're getting an air cushion, so it looks like it's sliding. But the issue is we may not have enough, and there's actually a little bit of resistance. So you want to crank this up at least to the top of the swoosh here. And then another issue, if you turn it up too much, the airflow can become a little bit wobbly. And so in some cases, you can actually make this thing wobble, and that can introduce problems too. So you want to use the smallest amount of air to get the job done. But for us, most of the time, that's right about here is what I found seems to give me the least errors in an experiment. And finally, we can see that this is not level. And here's the issue. You can just put the cart on there, let go of it, and we see it's going downhill. So we need to raise up this side or lower this side. This side is already lowered all the way down. Normally you can use these screws under here and turn this one a quarter turn and this one a quarter turn, but it's already too low. So what I'm going to do, I should use a piece of metal, but for right now I'll just use this. And so now it's probably too high. So then what I can do is I can start raising these screws. Whoops. Oh my gosh, having some trouble here. 1, 2, 3. Right there, 1, 2, 3. Still too high, so 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's getting a little better. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Etc. until it's level. That's good enough.